Sorry, we are having technical difficulties. One, switch the camera view. There, finally. A second, we'll get her all set up. There we go. Make chat visible, all that stuff. Okay, hey everybody. I hope we're up and running. Get my tablet set up here real quick and we'll be off to the races, I tell you. So we are at Trace State Park in Mississippi. Hey, 351 Cleveland friend. So when I got here, I found out that there's a 2-rod limit. So that put a little damper on my parade, but it is what it is and all that stuff. And I hate that phrase. So what we're going to do today, go ahead and hit the bait rod off to the side. The folks at Fish Bites, I found out they make a catfish bait. And I have used fish bites extensively when I'm fishing down in Florida. And pretty much everybody down there uses Fish Bites or Fish Gum. They're competing products. Fish Bites has a fabric layer in the middle that, and it's a thicker consistency, so it doesn't melt off quite the same. The Fish Gum does not have that layer of fabric in the middle and is more of a gummy texture. But they both make saltwater products. This is catfish bait. Sadly, it's been out for a year and I hadn't even heard about it. I'm a big Fish Bites fan. So we're going to give it a try today. I got 2 double hook rigs set up. We'll start off with the liver flavor. Liver comes in brown only. Makes sense, liver flavor. Now, these do not have that fabric in. Oh, my first time actually touching these in, because I don't want to open the bag until I'm ready to use them. Doesn't have the fabric in the middle, but is a very tough little bait. Not that I expected different. I mean, it's going to stay on the, what I'm trying to say. Get my bag of goodies up here. So, I mean, they sent me a whole bunch of stuff. I got shrimp flavor in yellow. I got shad in yellow. I got shrimp in flesh. I think I'll try the flesh colored shrimp on the other rod. They also make an earthworm, which is more of the tape style, like in saltwater, except it's not as wide. I'll show that to you here in a minute. So what I'm using is, some people call it double hook rig, poppiner rig, the Paternoster rig, sort of. I type a little bit differently, but same idea. You get 2 of these traces coming off the snood, if you want to get all British on you. Okay, and then I get into my bag of goodies here, box of goodies. And Scotty from Fun Fishing Adventures, well, he makes weights. And I got some from him. If you're looking for weights, check out Scotty from Fun Fishing Adventures. He's very reasonably priced. I think I'll go with, I don't know, I got some 1s and 2s and 3s, 4s, and everything. I think I'll go with 2s. These are the bank style, whatever they're called. And so I've got a loop at the bottom of these rigs. I run the loop through the eye, and then the weight goes through that loop. So it creates a little cabbage knot. And where I'm fishing, I'm kind of on a little point. It's a very gradual point, so I don't want to fish straight out. I'm going to fish to the right and the left. I'm probably off camera, and I apologize for that. I'll be back in a second. Using a 20-pound test mono with probably a 40-pound leader. Got the bait clicker on. There's the first one out. And a little less. There we go. Send the second one out. Again, I'll probably be a little off camera. Just don't want to snag up lines. And there we go. And time is 8:20 a.m. Central. I say that so when we pull them in later, we can look and see how the baits lasted on there. And so these are the earthworm that I talked about. So they come in you get 1, 2, looks like 3 tapes, and you only need like 1/4 inch. I think these are 1/4 inch wide. These are good so that if the way they're used in saltwater anyway, the other type, and the saltwater type is wider of a tape, but they show you just kind of rig it on kind of like a worm, or you can do just a little piece. Typically what they do in the saltwater is they use the little piece, and you put a piece of it on and then some shrimp, or put some shrimp and then it on. And basically, when the little pinfish come and peck everything off your line, you still got some bait, because that stuff, it doesn't come off. Not easy, not difficult. Well, difficultly it does come off, but it stays on there. And I mean, I've left it out there enough that I came back and all that was left on the hook was the fabric itself. So it does come off, and or does dissolve, which is what it's supposed to do. Give me just a second. I'm trying to get my tablet up and running. Hope the audio is good. If it's not, let me know. If the video is not good, that's just my face and I can't help you. Come on, baby. It was a very cheap tablet, like 50 or 60 bucks. I think it's got 32 gigs of storage on it. It ain't much. You don't record on this thing. You just gotta watch stuff on it. But it was cheap, and that was my price. We're getting started. Make sure the volume's good. Testing 1, 2, 3. I hope. Hey, Wolf's Den. Hey, Rude. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that sounds good. There we go. Appreciate you guys joining. I know it's been a long time since it's been out. 4 of you watching, 7 thumbs up. Can't ask for more than that. Appreciate you guys so much. So I don't know if my tablet's just being slow or if I'm actually spinning. If you guys see it spinning, let me know in the chat, and I'll try to do something about it. But otherwise, ooh, there I am. It's me. Okay, let me see. Let me look at the camera and see if the phone thinks it's spinning too. Oh, the phone thinks it's working. It may just be this tablet being its unhappy self. Anyway, so I trust that you would let me know if it was spinning. I don't know what WW means except Wonder Woman, so there you go. Thanks, Rude. I'm Wonder Woman. So I got here and I looked up regulations yesterday, or tried to. It looked like there wasn't a rod limit, just a 100 hook limit. But the nice folks at the ranger station told me there is a 2-rod limit. So that's why I'm slumming with 2 rods, looking like Scotty. And for those who don't know, me and Scotty joke around a lot. He's a good dude, fun fishing adventures. He goes out fishing a lot. We fight with each other over who catches the least number of fish, and so far I'm winning. And he does product reviews on some stuff. He got a power station recently. It looks really cool. Has a light on it, and of course has not only USB, but it's got some 120. Now it's not, I think I looked it up, it's like maybe 26 amps, 26 amp hour. So not a huge battery in there. So it's not going to power a lot of stuff for a long time, but you know, having that 120 there to power a fan or something would be really cool. And it's nice to have options. Currently I use power banks, but I'm going to build myself a power station with a 30 amp hour battery, because, and share a secret. It's not a secret, just something I learned. So I've got a bunch of those 20,000 milliamp power banks, right? Or a few of them. Okay, so 20,000 milliamps, well, that's 20 amps, right? So 20 amp hour, why is it so small? Well, it's 20 amps at, I think, 5 volt DC or 3.2, I forget. Whereas a lithium battery for, you know, it's 12 volt, it's 12 volt, and it's like amp times volts or something like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's why a 24 volt or a 20,000 milliamp little power bank with USB is not the same as a 20 amp hour lithium battery. And you may have seen them across the way. I don't know, but there was just a group over there running. Like I say, Ashley's doing 12 miles. She said last year she did it 2 hours, 45 minutes. She has been wrecking records. So God only knows. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. Hey, Cricket Cop. Appreciate you guys joining. I'm sorry if I ramble on. It's really what I do best. And I got 2 rods out. Can never remember which one does the. There's a 3rd rod there, but it's not in the water. That is my bait rod. Straight ahead and down. You see, I'm straight ahead of me is, or sort of straight ahead, is a point. I'm fishing kind of off about 45 degrees left. Actually, a little more, and probably about 30 to 40 degrees right off that point. Trying to get into some deeper water because this seems like a shallow point that goes out. And this lake, from what I read online, I think in 2017 was drained and refilled in 2020, I think. So there shouldn't be anything in this lake older than 5 years. It's supposed to be good crappie lake, good bluegill lake. There's some bass in here, and catfish were mentioned, although not strongly. The choice right now is that Fish Bites catfish bait. I have it out on both rods, and I've got my bait rod if I want to, you know, throw out some crappie man jigs or try out the earthworm Fish Bites for bait fish. I can do that, and we'll just kind of see what the morning brings us. Beautiful out here. It's supposed to be like a high of 75-ish. It's probably close to 70 right now. And the state park is located in Belden, Mississippi. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Saturday morning. I was joking with Ashley on the way here as we discussed world politics and how to solve everything in the world. And I was like, you know, when I set my alarm to go fishing, somehow I can find an excuse not to go fishing. When I set an alarm because she's going to go do her running, by golly, I'm there for her. Which is how I ended up fishing today. I should have gone fishing last weekend, and I didn't because I was lazy. Shh, don't tell anybody. So for my double dropper rigs, and I've got this on videos, I'll I'll take whatever leader I'm going to use, and I create a loop at the bottom and tie on a surgeon's loop, which is just you double the line over and kind of an overhand knot and put it through twice, and then you got a loop at the end. And then for the two traces that go out, I actually use triple surgeon's loop, which is just a surgeon's loop with an extra loop through it, or extra time around, so you got 3 times. It's just stronger than the surgeon's loop. And then I use a trilane knot to tie it to the swivel. And I keep my rigs. I'm actually kind of proud of how I do my rigs. So sad news for you, you get to look at them too. So what I'll do, I'll tie up and I'll put them in these. These are 4 mil. Don't get the 2 mil. 4 mil 3x5 inch bags. So this is actually a pulley rig. I got some others in here. You know what? I want to talk about the pulley rig. Pulley rig is really cool. It's something that they use over in the UK. If the fish would bite, I wouldn't have to talk as much. But so when you pull it out, it kind of comes apart pretty easy. Everything's cool. So this is, you're like, oh, what is all that? Okay. So we'll start at the hook. You got the hook snelled on, and it goes up to a ball bearing swivel. That's the hook side. Then you've got the sinker side. Has this, it's called an imp clip. And tie that on with a trilane. I tie it on a trilane knot. I've got a bead. I've got another ball bearing swivel that's just loose on there. And then another bead. So the way this works is you tie this ball bearings, we've got on this first ball bearing swivel, we've got the line to the hook and then the line to the sinker. Those are both right here. Then you've got this free floating. This one now gets tied to your main line. And when all that's said and done, and let me get a sinker so that it behaves like it's supposed to. So you take your sinker and you just kind of clip it on here like so. But we're using an eye, it'd be easier, but anyway. So you got your sinker. So the sinker is going to be a little lower than the hook. You take the hook, you bring it down, and you put it on that imp clip. Okay, so now your line's up here. Try that again. So you got your baited hook, you put it on the imp clip. And so that stays like so. And it kind of levels itself out. So the sinker has to be just a little longer than the hook. So now you cast it out, right? And it lands in the water. And they come apart. Now, that's great. So what that does is it keeps it from helicoptering. If you've ever had your bait and your weight helicoptering sideways or overhead, that's what that solves. But it also, because this is free floating, so now you tighten your rig up. So you got your sinker on the bottom, you got the rig tightened up, and now your bait's free. And then when the fish pulls on the bait, it's got a little less tension there, right? So it gives it extra room for this to just kind of hang out there and do what it wants. The fish can gobble it down before it realizes there's a hook in there. And then when it does and it swims away, it hooks itself on the circle hook like it's supposed to. So I think those are really cool. I've seen them. I've tied several of them. I've never used one. Logically, go do one now, Mike, but, I already had rigs tied on. All right, let's get that out of the way. I need to become a more organized fisherman. That's a problem for another day. It goes out at 8:20. It's 8:33, so 13 minutes with no bites. And I don't know where the good spots are in this lake. It's my first time here. I just kind of looked it up online, but well, there's a lake there. Let's go fish. All right. I do see some activity that you can't see to the left of the camera. It's just looks like bait fish or something doing their thing. Check, see what I've got in here. Here we go. Got some jigs and stuff. I think what I'll do, I'm not sure how well this is going to cast, but we'll give it a shot. I think this is a 1/64 ounce jig head, unpainted, from Crappie Man Jigs. Crappie Man green, little, that's a little minnow. I don't know. Anyway, if you haven't checked out Crappie Man Jigs, he is a YouTuber. He pours a bunch of stuff. Fun guy to watch. He does crappie videos, fishing, and not just, hey, watch me fish, but teaches you how to fish. 351 Cleveland was the first one in here. He does a lot. He uses Crappie Man Jigs a lot, swears by them, and he catches some nice fish. Of course, I'm not sure he couldn't catch fish with a bare hook, and that's about it. But anyway, if you do go to crappiemanjigs.com, you can save 10% with the code FTM10. I'm not sponsored by him. I bought some stuff from him. I like the stuff, even if I did just drop it on the ground for no reason at all. And seems like a good dude. And I would rather, support family men than companies if I can. He uses his own, or not his own jig, own molds. He buys molds and pours them, anywhere from 1 to 10 at a time, depending on the bait. And so it's all a hand pour process. And what I really like, not just the fact that he makes jigs. Like I say, his channel is about teaching you how to catch crappie, where they are at different times. And it's not just, ooh, look, here's a live scope. I found some fish somewhere. Let's watch live scope. But it's, how I found spots, how I would, where I would start on a lake I'm not familiar with, just because he's one of those guys that has been fortunate, same area for a long time. So the lake he fishes, he's fished probably all of his life. And that's great for him. And you find a lot of guys like that have fished the same lake most of their life, know it like the back of their hand, and they do well on it. Well, that's your home lake advantage, right? Not everybody has that option. So I like the fact that he comes around and he's like, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this area, look at why we might fish it, and, kind of how to catch fish. Which again, I think is really cool. There's a whole lot of channels out there that are like, hey, watch me catch fish or watch me fish. And it's that educational videos that really I think add a lot to the community. Find the end of one of these fish bites. Again, this is the earthworm scent. And that is the size of piece I'm going to use. So get that all baited up. Sorry, let me get rid of that sound. It's driving me nuts too. It's just a tag for my chair. It's a new chair, like it. It's a chair, but it's a little taller. It's not one that I have to, my feet are still on the ground. It's not something that I have to use the foot bar, but for a taller guy with bad knees, it's a nice thing to have. So I'm gonna pull this one in, 840, it's been out there 20 minutes. So let's see what the bait looks like. And I can only fish with 2 rods at once, so if I'm gonna try bait fishing, I need to pull these up. So the baits are holding up really well. I can see from the little crosshatch pattern on them on one side, I think where they press it or something, that it is slowly dissolving. And that's the thing, slowly. So it's been there 20 minutes, it's still holding up great. So it's not one of those things that you're gonna have to, replace every few minutes. Yeah, we'll see how well this little tiny jig goes. Looks like I don't need to go that far. Not as far as I thought I needed to go. Hope I'm still in the picture. I'm just kind of letting it sink to the bottom. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing some shells on a decent number of like little mussel shells or something. About the size of a nickel. That's one of the forages here. And that something is foraging. All the shells are open. My goal was just see if I can pick up a bait fish real quick. Be back to just the catfishing side in just a second. I can hear those guys talking from across the lake. Across the lake looks really good. It looks like cups that are submerged. If I liked walking further, I might go over there and check it out. So here is the point, right? It was out this way. And I was on both sides of it, but I think I may be a little further out than I want to be with those catfish rods. So my next one, I'm just going to throw on the same side that this one's on, but more straight. Not as far off of the point. With that one, I just missed the point. Yeah, that's funny. I'm a comedian. Honest. Not a good one. Yeah, I call myself a catfisherman, so there's that. Man, I like how slowly this falls. I mean, I don't know what I expect from a 64th ounce, but there's a dock over here. I'm going to see real quick if there's anything under it, and I will be right back. And you should still be able to hear me and all that fun stuff, and that's because I'm using the DJI Mic Mini. Posted short a day or two ago. Amazon has it on sale for like 79 bucks. When they first came out, they were 169, and that's what I paid for mine. And so the DJI Mic 3 has come out. So it's not really considered a Mic Mini, but it's about the size of a Mic Mini and has a lot more pro features on it. And by pro features, I'm talking about it keeps a local recording on the device, as opposed to this one that just is a microphone. It doesn't do the recording. So you can keep a backup recording. It also has a touch screen on the receiver, whereas this one just has all of the configuration changes are made within the DJI Mimo app, other than you can turn on the noise cancellation from the microphone, and you can from the receiver itself. You can set the volume up either 6 or 12 decibels or down 6 or 12 decibels or normal. And I'm using normal right now. So no immediate love on any of these baits, and that's okay. I mean, rain yesterday, we got a front moving in. I didn't have high hopes that this would be a productive fishing day, but I did have high hopes that I'd be out here fishing. So I've met my goal. Oh yeah, the part I'm walking on now is just littered with these little shells. Again, about the diameter of a nickel. So there is no shortage of mussels in here for these nice fish. Let's see, 8:45. I'm using a 2-ounce bank sticker on these. So the it goes out this way. So I'm going to go a little bit to the right of it. Like so. The reels I'm using today are the Abu Garcia 5600 C4s. Had them for over 20 years. They haven't been fishing for 20 years, but I've had them that long. They've seen a decent amount of fishing. But anyway, let's see what we got going on here. Duke City Fishing, see you, my friend. Hey, Fun Fishing Adventures. There's Scotty himself. Creek Seeker, good to see you. I'm using those world famous Sky Sinkers from Fun Fishing Adventures. I don't know what his current rates are. I'll let him tell you, but he's cheap on sinkers right now. And if you go into Walmart or Academy or Bass Pro or anywhere else and try buying these sinkers, you'd think they were made out of gold, not lead. This guy, he melts his own lead, pours them up, probably polishes them. I don't know. If you do order them, you want to spend $100 or so, because the shipping is what kills you. So he uses those flat rate boxes. I think the biggest one will hold 70 pounds. People usually run into about 60, 65. The smaller ones are a little bit cheaper, but basically, if you're not going to buy 30 pounds of lead, it may not be that big of a cost savings to you. But where you really save the money is when you get up into ordering in bulk. It's not that his price changes; it's that the shipping. If you're paying $20 to ship 20 pounds of lead, you just raised your price $1 a pound. Whereas if you do 60 pounds, you've raised it 33 cents per lead, per pound, I should say. So while we've got a break in the action, I'm going to do a video on these. Let me go ahead and show you my chair. So that is the Everlast, I believe. Nope, Ever Advance, excuse me, director's chair. It's a tall director's chair. See if I move it back a little further. So this is meant to be a foot rest, and there's a little piece that it clamps into down there. It doesn't actually add stability, but if you're not as tall, see, my bad knees, I'm fat and I'm old. So when I sit down, my feet are flat on the ground. So if I need to get up, it's that simple. If you've ever been a fat guy trying those quad chairs, oh my God, you just can't lean properly enough to to get out of them without, and this has the solid arm bars, or whatever those things are called, armrests. They have padding over them, but they're still solid metal underneath. So, if you need to push up, you got those. And I've used the Academy director's chair for a long time. They don't carry it anymore. It has a cooler on the side, and it's not a huge cooler, but hold 4 or 5 bottles of water. And it's all because you can put your trash in there and it doesn't go anywhere. This has a side table with a little cup holder in it. But Academy doesn't make that one anymore. And I was needing a chair for when I'm in Florida, because every time we drive down there, you've got a premium storage in the back of the car with me, her, and the kids. So I thought, if I got one for down there and just left it there, I would have one. So I went on a chair buying spree. And I bought a bunch of them. And the review will have them in there. I've got one of the Ozark Trail Fat Boy quad chairs. It's supposed to hold, I don't know, 450, 500, 600 pounds, somewhere in there. Yeah, it really is a nice chair. I think it's like maybe $89. It's not inexpensive. But I'm a value-oriented guy. And value doesn't mean cheap, right? That's a lesson I had to learn. There's a school of thought of buy once, cry once, and then there's a school of thought of just buy stuff that breaks. Buy the cheap stuff and keep buying it. Well, one, that puts more crap in landfills, which I'm against. I think everybody is. But more importantly, this is comfort. So if I'm in that quad chair sitting on the dock down in Florida at a fish hits, I've got there's a lot of grunting and cussing to get out of it, because the butt sits lower in those kind of in the quad style chairs. And then the Academy director's chair, since they don't make the one I want anymore, they make one that now has the side table only. It's like, if it was like 3 inches taller. So I looked around, found this on Amazon, and it actually wasn't my first choice. My first choice was the Bass Pro, Cabela's actually, Muskogee or something like that. I've heard good things about that chair. And it's a quad style chair. Well, it's, how do I explain it? It folds like a quad style chair. So it takes up that little square profile as opposed to a long rectangular profile. But it just sat too low in the back. It had a little bit of a recline to it. Not bad as a camp chair. As a fishing chair, I wanted something that had more of a flat butt so that I didn't sink in. So that when I try to lean over and get my center of gravity in the right spot so I can get out of it, I'm not feeling like I'm going to fall forward. And so then I got the Ever Advanced. It's a quad chair. Because it has, I don't know, like maybe a 600-pound capacity, something ridiculous. And I like the way that chair sat a little better. I can't explain it. And plus, quad chairs are often better if you're going to, like outdoor events, concerts, stuff like that, where you're not going to be getting up and down as much. It's not as much of a problem. Fishing, you get up and down a lot. And then I found this Ever Advanced. So I liked the quad chair. It was very good. It was good quality, it felt like. And then I saw this one and I'm like, that's exactly what I want. I don't want the tall director's chair because they make some of those where you're supposed to be sitting with your feet off the ground. I don't really want my feet off the ground. I just want them on the ground and my knees at more of a 45-degree angle. This is a little more than a 45, but the quad chairs put it at a lot less than a 45. So anyway, that's the long and the short of it. Billy, that's all I do is think, man. If you've seen me fish, have you seen me fish? Have you seen me catch fish? Exactly. So it's not really fair to be putting out these the fish bites, catfish bait in this scenario, but it is fair, right? So, if somebody sends you a product, and I did ask them for it, they didn't just, send it to me, but I asked them for it. And, I was just trying to get a sample because, try it out. And, well, I didn't get just a sample. They sent me a goodie box. It was very nice of them. Very, very appreciated. Like I say, I already believe in the Fish Bite brand. So it was not something where I'm just going, here's some random crap. Let's try it. But they have catfish bait now. So, a good YouTuber, good content creator, good influencer would go to a place where he always catches fish and then put that bait in front of him and go, look, it catches all these fish because we already knew the fish were here and they're going to bite anything. Well, this is a lake I've never fished before. Don't know anything about it. Doing a whole lot of guesswork. Rain yesterday. I got a front moving in. It's, not ideal fishing conditions, but it's nice weather right now. So there you go. And even with other bait, I probably wouldn't be catching anything either. So it's a wash. Billy, it's good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything's going well with you and lovely wife. I do give it a college effort. And then I drop out. But anyway. When I was a kid, I had a farm on a pond on the farm that I lived on. And then just down the road was a lake that was stocked with catfish. So growing up, if I wanted to catch fish, I could go catch fish. I won't say it was like shooting fish in a barrel, but it was like shooting fish in a pond. So learning the mechanics of fishing, I did, but learning the how, why, and where was not my thing. So the pond I had, I don't know how big it was. I would say it was maybe a third of an acre, just judging by the size of the lot my house is on now. Maybe a little bigger. It had cattails around it, but it was kind of square shaped. And there was this one corner I'd always cast to from across the pond. And I'd cast up in there, and I'm telling you, that was where the bluegill were. Different sizes at different days. I didn't understand why. Actually, as a kid, because bluegill will school by size. And I would have swore to you I kept catching the same bluegill. I would take that fish, I'd throw it to the other side of the pond from where I pulled it from. I put my bait out there, and darned if I don't catch him, the same fish, in theory. Faster than that fish could have swum there. But I just thought it was the same fish. I'm like, quit biting my hook. I want something else. It was funny. Lots of good fish. Now, Gig, I'm telling you, brother, I work remotely most of the time, and I have given serious consideration to trying to bum a place to stay in Florida, in Texas, anywhere on the coast that I could just go and fish and have a good time and keep mostly to myself and mostly clean up after myself. And I just need to know somebody rich with a guest house. And when I was trying to win that 1.6 or $8 billion Powerball jackpot, I had it set, man. I was going to buy I was supposed to spend a lot of money right off the bat, but I was going to buy myself a house in Florida. And I was going to have a guest house there that was going to be open to anybody I knew, anytime they wanted. Anyway, I did not win. So I didn't give my house to a coworker. I didn't buy a bunch of people at work a new car and play Oprah. Yeah. Oh well. Probably for the best, because Ashley still has one kid in school, and this visitation with his dad and stuff like that. So that would have put a cramp in some of it. Man, the Emerald Coast is beautiful, and I haven't even been to the real part of it. Pensacola's got some really nice water in it, but that's not even really considered the Emerald Coast. You got to get further down. And I've seen it on videos, and I'm like, my goodness, you can see when the water's crystal clear. Sell all my shit and move down here like everybody else does. Well, Billy, the problem is I still need a residual income. And from what I understand, you guys pay through the freaking nose for home insurance. Partly because, as I understand it, a bunch of the contractors down there are sue happy. So they'll come and they'll look at your roof and decide you need a new roof. And when the insurance company says no, they go, well, we'll take you to court. The insurance company's like, well, it'll cost us more in court than it will to just get you a new roof. Here's your new roof, and we're canceling you. So the contractor wins and everybody else loses, even if it didn't specifically need a new roof. And that hurts everybody, except the contractors who, like, oh, well, we'll fight them for you because we're on your side. Nah, they're on their own side. So I get a shirt in case anybody didn't notice. Probably shouldn't have put anything down the sleeves, at least not the same thing. And then my logo on the front. I got it off of Amazon. It's a little shorter than I like a longer fitting shirt. But that's just me. Wasn't too bad. It was, I don't know, $35, $40 shipped. Again, I wish I had more choices on the shirts. It's a little heavier than I'd like to. Anyway. Finally had to get myself a logoed shirt so I'd feel like part of the cool kids. Yeah, or something out there that just slipped in the water. It could be shad, and if it's shad, then of course they're not going to hit any of my baits anyway. Even my crappie jig. I didn't bring my cast net because honestly my goal was to try out these baits from Fish Bites. So Billy, these are more like nuggets. They don't have the fabric in the center, the filaments and stuff, but they are very firm and I mean they stay on the hook well. I had one out for 20 minutes soaking, then did a little bluegill fishing and failed, and then threw it back in there. And while it is doing the slow dissolve thing, it's not dissolving fast at all. Because that's the problem with some baits is they dissolve really fast. And these are staying on the hook really good. I am impressed with them as a bait option. I guess I probably should do the sniff test because everybody likes sniffing stuff. Mostly glue in my case, but whatever. Okay, so here's the earthworm stuff. Kind of smells like earthworms. Like when you open up some night crawlers, how the dirt smells. It's not strong. It's not like nasty or anything. Like I said, they hooked me up. I mean, I got shad in pink. I got crawfish in pink. I got shrimp in blood color, or shad in blood color rather. Liver in the brown color. It's the only color it comes in. Right now, I've got out some liver, and I think the other one's a shrimp flavor. It also comes in yellow. Yes, I've got the shrimp in the flesh color, and I've got the liver out. One thing I didn't do that I need to do anyway when I seal these back up is push as much air out as possible. Liver kind of smells like dry dog food. Not like, you know, that wet, nasty stuff, but just it's not heavily smelly. And the shrimp and flesh. It smells like something, I don't know what though. Doesn't really smell like shrimp. Maybe potato chips? I don't know. But let's see. So I've got a shrimp out. I'll do a shad yellow. So I got two baits on, or 2 hooks on each rod. So that's what I say. That was a shad. Probably going to regret doing the shad. This is probably, nope, this is shrimp blood. I've got shrimp out, so I don't want that. I want crawfish. It's the other one. Crawfish pink. Unless, what's this blood color? That's shad blood. And that's shad. Okay. So I'll pull these in and I'll put a different bait on one of the hooks. So, I mean, they're really not strong, which they don't need it for me, right? Fish have their own sensory systems to amino acids and blah, blah, whatever. Words I've heard that don't understand. So these are not uniform in size, but this one has been in the water for probably 30 minutes total. Not a lot of difference. Ew, does feel. So it does get softer, and here I'll show you. Put this on there. I mean, putting these on, these are sharp hooks. They are circle hooks though, but oh, come on. They're not hard, like crunchy or anything, but they're not marshmallows. So here's the one I just took off, and you see it's got a little mucusy on it. But it's still, I mean, absolute firm. But you can see it's, you know, maybe you can't see, but it's like here it's coming off on me. Throw that one in the water. I'm what you call a sissy fisherman. I like to have baby wipes around. As a kid, I remember I'd go fishing with liver all the time, and I didn't care how nasty and stinky it was. I probably wore half of it when I came back in the house. My mother had to hate me. So this one's going to have liver and shad in the yellow. So that one's really close to the point. Might be too far out. I don't know. We'll figure that out in a minute. The bait clicker turned on there. And we'll come to the other one. So this one has on the shrimp and the flesh color for both baits. I'm going to do just like I did with that one. I'm going to take one of them off. This one has been sitting longer. This one's sitting about 40 minutes. The reason being that I pulled that one in for about 10 minutes while I was out fishing for bait fish. It does not come off the hook easy. I'm just going to tell you flat out, this is not a bait they're going to steal from you. Let's see if I can rip it out of there. I mean, I'm wearing it on both hands very well. There we go. Now it's interesting. I do see a couple of fibers on the hook. So while it's not the mesh fabric, it does have some kind of fibrous component to it. And there we go. I'll pull this one in. I'm not going to throw that one out quite as far. There we go. See if they're up a little closer. Grab my bait knife. I hope this is in camera view. Just slice. Said I was going to just slice right through it. Wow. This is impressive stuff. So you can see like the little hair sticking off on the side here. There's some kind of fiber component. They are solid, but there is no, like I say, fabric in the middle. It has a fibrous material of some sort, which helps hold it together. So I'm again, when it comes down to the bait itself, the form factor and all, I am quite impressed. I didn't expect any other result, to be honest with you, but I'm actually more impressed than I expected to be. Because I've squeezed it through the package before, but I've never actually touched it because I didn't want to, ruin the shelf life of it. And it just feels good. There's no two ways about it. So I'm sure we've all used magic bait or punch baits, and you cast it out there and it comes off during the cast. This is not going to. Hey, Randy Rhino, good to see you, my friend. Not a believer in that stuff. Billy, you don't use fish bites? That's a weird thing to say because I thought everybody down there used fish bites. All of the surf fishing guys seem to. Fish bites, fish gum, something like that. And yeah, when it comes to catfish, I expect this to be a channel cat bait more than a blue cat bait. So, I mean, I'm not looking for trophy fish out of it, but that's also why I've got my medium power rods and my 5,600 size reels and 20-pound mono. But I think this would be a good channel catfish bait. And anyway, I like using their saltwater stuff because even when the pinfish nail the shrimp right off your hook, you still got something in the way of bait on there. And for anybody not familiar with pinfish, they are like bluegill, but more aggressive. And if you think bluegill can peck off bait, pinfish are experts. I'm not sure they couldn't suck a dried night crawler off of a hook. If you ever let a night crawler stay on your hook and dry it out, you know what I'm talking about. It almost takes a knife to get those things off. Man, those pinfish are just absurd. But the fact that I couldn't even get a bite out of a bluegill on a jig tells me that this just may not be a good spot. It may not be good weather for. I don't know what. There's a reason they're not biting. Could be because they're not here. Could be other reasons. And I don't actually know how many catfish are in here. Like I said, the lake was drained and refilled, I think, in 2020. I think they had to do some dam repairs or something. I don't remember. I've slept since I looked at it. Just verify that my chat is not froze. No, y'all just don't talk much. That's fair. 5 of me in here and 17 thumbs up. I can't ask for anything more than that. Appreciate you guys joining. Scotty, in case you're wondering, there's a the park ranger told me there's a two rod limit here. That's why I'm only using 2. Now, in the state, it's a 100 hook limit, but different bodies of water and parks and stuff have their own rules. So what time did I put those up? About 9:15 now. It's probably about 9:10 I put them out. So Ashley is running a 12 miler. 12 mile? Yeah, I think 12 miles, I believe. Yeah. And so last year it took her 2 hours and 45 minutes. She had been crushing all of her past records. So I don't know. And this is actually the same event where I proposed to Ashley last year. Proposed to her at the finish line. There's a video of that up on the channel. Now she was in good shape last year too. Don't get me wrong. She ran the fifth. Yeah, she ran the 50K in probably October, just like she did this year, and then she ran this one. But she has really, she's put a lot of work in. She goes running 4 or 5 times a week, and not just around the block. And she goes to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. She's impressive. I try not to walk any further than from the recliner to the kitchen. And if I'm lifting something, it's because I had to, not because, ooh, look, here's a piece of iron. Let's lift it up for fun. So I disappeared from a lot of live streams for a while. Not just, I mean, my own, we know I'm not around, but I wasn't around a lot of others for a while. I was playing Evany, The King's Return. And don't ever play it. Just tell you right off, don't play that game. Take away. So the ads for it show basically, you got a lot of zombies or whatever, soldiers, whatever, running at you. And, you could pick up different buffs and stuff and all that. That is the adventure part of the game, which is like less than 1% of the actual game. That's more of a side game. You start off doing some more of that, but then very quickly it's a building your kingdom kind of thing. You work on your castle, you work on your, ooh, my goodness, there's a bunch of stuff swirling right here. What is it? Saw a bunch of little guys swirling, but I couldn't see them. I don't know if they were little bluegill or what they were, but I mean, they were right here at the edge of the water. It was like they were working in concert, unless it was shad and something was pushing them up. That was cool. So there is life in here. Just don't know what it is because they don't want to eat my baits. Anyway, it's one of those games that once you get past the first few levels, things start taking a long time. At least you can use, they give you a lot of time reducers so you can, turn 36 days into 3 minutes, but it's a very time-consuming game. Extremely time-consuming. And fortunately for me, the server I was on, there was this one girl, at least possibly a girl. The name was a female name. Annoying. Oh, she would get in chat and she would just post the most random diatribes about, like I'm doing right now, kind of, except stupid. Drove me nuts. I finally had all I could have over and I rage quit. I'm glad I did. Like I say, it was taking way too much of my time. Way too much. I grew up in the game in the era of arcade games where you didn't have stories and all that kind of stuff. You got in your little spaceship and you shot aliens and until the aliens overran you, and then your game was over and you put another quarter in and tried again. Or you had the little Pac-Man eating the little, I don't know what the little thing thought he was eating, or you had the centipedes and you had the, games that, quick in, there's no pausing, and quick out. Not here, let's watch a movie or read a bunch of text about the backstory that I don't care about. I wish you guys would talk, give me something to talk about. Make sure everything's still working, right? Yep, everything's still working. So one of the trends that I hate in YouTube is clickbait. Everybody hates it. The problem is it works. For fishing channels, it's often, I was fishing at this spot and this happened. But they won't take, then you got to watch the video and find out what this is. Or anytime a game warden shows up, they're like, oh, I got stopped by the game warden. See what happens. So there's 20 minutes of nonsense and then 12 seconds with the game warden going, hey, can I see your license? Okay, thanks, bye. Stuff like that. I've learned on those that you just you fast forward through them until you get to the juicy spots. I wish it wasn't like that. But it works. I try to be very honest in my titles, like live fishing at Trace State Park, which is exactly what I'm doing. Oh, well. Let's see. Something from Bass Pro. Oh, it's their sale paper. It's like, oh, I got something for Bass Pro coming today. And let's see what Ashley's doing on her live track. Let's see. Get all this out of the way. So hopefully y'all can see that. She started over here. Down here. That's all the stuff that she's doing. And I am somewhere around where the little start is. So that's where she's at. She's probably halfway through the race. Hour and a half sounds right. Just thought I'd share. She's a truly amazing woman. Oh, goody. I ordered something from Walmart. It was supposed to be at her house yesterday, and it didn't come through. But it's coming through today, it says. which is cool because it's cat treats and the cat was not happy that she didn't have treats. So hopefully by the time we get back, it'll be there. Still trying to make friends with her cat. Her cat is not overly friendly. Okay. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. Look through the camera and see if you can see it. No, but where's my finger? Somewhere right in there, there is something going across the water. I would tell you it's a snake if I could see a head. But I don't see anything. I just see kind of like a line where it's been moving. Could just be the reflection of the water playing a game on me with a little bit of rippling. I don't know. So the left rod's the one I have the most faith in right now because it's on the edge of that point. I'll reel this one in for a minute. So I can try my bait rod again. See if anything up here wants to bite now. And I do have a little piece of that earthworm fish bite on this Crappie Man Green, Crappie Man jig. I think it's a low minnow. It's a 1/64 ounce jig, or jig head. So it sinks really super slow. Those bluegill tend to hang out on the bottom and eat kind of close to the bottom. I'm just going to try to keep it on the bottom. Lift it up a little bit and go slowly. Oh, I couldn't have used my cast net anyway. This is rod and reel only. Forget about that. So not bringing the cast net, it wasn't a bad thing after all. All right, no activity there. Try over here on the left side. And I am casting deep enough that it should be where the bluegill would be if they're out there. So I'm definitely, I believe I'm deep enough for them, even though I'm using a very light jig. Haven't seen anything follow it in. So I think this is, like I said, 12 miles. I think it's a 20K. And they've also got a 10K. So in the background, you may hear somebody talking over a speaker. And that's probably some of the 10Kers finishing. So I'm going to sit back down. I'm going to try this really slow. So when I'm fishing for bluegill using jigs and stuff, I tend to use crop nibbles. And I was really excited about that earthworm flavor fish bite. Because as you know, those little crappie nibble marshmallow baits come off easy. And this earthworm stuff will not. but I also don't know if it's going to dissolve fast enough to work in the method I'm using it. To give off, to release enough scent that the fish are attracted to it specifically. Ooh, actually, the cat treats are arriving much faster than expected. Y'all are quiet bunch this morning. Appreciate you watching either way. Guess not everybody can be as loud and obnoxious as I am. I would like to catch a little bluegill and use it as cut bait, at least on one hook, just to get an idea of if anything's out there biting. I mean, I'm reeling this thing super slow. And that bright crappie man green chartreuse color in this fairly clear water should be perfect. I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. And I think it's on probably a number 8 hook, maybe a number 6, probably number 8. So anything that bites it should get caught. So there's a boat ramp over to the right of me. I don't know, 50 feet or so. I'm going to go over there and actually fish the ramp itself. I fished one on one of the docks, courtesy docks. Earlier did get a bite. I'll try fishing on the ramp itself because you get all that algae and stuff that grow on a ramp. And if you're ever looking for bait with a cast net, throwing on a ramp is a really good place to start. You throw off, the courtesy dock, or you can actually throw on the concrete ramp. And I find concrete ramps work real well if you're throwing a cast net. But there's also, this ramp has not been used in a while. I can see big, I'm guessing goose tracks. But the cement versus the other bottom structure, so the edge of the ramps can be very good. But at the end, there's usually a blowout hole where people power load their boats, so it kind of washes out at the end of the ramp, the end of the concrete. Puts a nice little hole there, and you can catch all kinds of stuff there. Hope y'all are watching my rod over there just to make sure it doesn't do anything. It's y'all's job now. Nothing. Ooh, I do see. What do I see? Can't tell if it was a shad or a little bluegill. He saw me and was like, I don't like you. I get that a lot. So there's a lot of sediment on top of the ramp. Like I say, it doesn't look like anybody's used it in a while. Which also tells me if there were a lot of fish here, they would have. So maybe I'm just fishing in a dry hole. Ooh. So when the bait hit the water that time, it was very near the shore. Several fish were not happy about it. That's somebody loading their car after the race. So right here, probably maybe a foot deep, I can see my bait. So whatever I spooked had no size to it. And now I'm off the end of one of the little courtesy docks. And while I've got all of y'all's attention, I need to make a statement. So, as I think most people know, boat anglers don't like bank anglers, and bank anglers don't like boat anglers. And I do both. And the problem is, boat ramps and the courtesy docks are made for boaters. Now, like I say, right now I'm fishing at, ooh, something swirled over there. It was decent size. Chasing bait, I think. Courtesy docks are for boats. Now, I'm fishing from it right now because there are no boats here. Nobody's coming in. But if I were fishing here and somebody started coming down the boat ramp, I need to move. I don't need to be asked to move. I need to get out of their way, let them use the dock. When they're done loading or unloading their boat, then I can get back on it. But I don't need to be on it while they're trying to load. I don't need to go, well, there's 2 docks here, you need to use that one. No, they get both. Whichever one they want. Because I've been fishing when I come in and there's somebody on the dock and I'm like, man, I don't want to be a prick here, but that's where I need to tie my boat up to. And sometimes people act like they're all put out and like, that's what this is here for. If I want to, the only time I parked on a boat ramp to fish was because the boat ramp itself was out of the water. Nobody was going to be able to launch there. But otherwise, I don't care if it's a 2-lane boat ramp and nobody ever launches, but it's a usable boat ramp. Don't park your damn truck on the boat ramp. It's not what it's there for. You want to pull down there, unload your bank fishing gear, and then pull your truck right back off, got no problem with that. But don't just sit your boat there on the boat ramp, or your truck on the boat ramp. So, no bites. Don't see my other rod doing anything fun over there. I'll try again on the boat ramp itself. Kind of sucks that there's activity here, but I'm not getting any attention on even a jig. So I think I'd be more disappointed if I were getting bites and wasn't getting anything on the catfish rods. I'm not getting anything. there's movement going around, but nothing here has any aggression to it. I've got my beach tires on my cart right now. If I didn't, I would consider going across the lake where I see all those stick-ups at. But beach tires don't work real well on trails. They'll wear out real quick. All right. Bait rod back up. And I'm just going to go far right with this. No real excuses to where I'm going or why. That's going over towards the ramp, though. Not to the ramp. Anyway. Thank you for the happy poop, Randy. Billy, God bless you. Do you ever buy a new underwear, take them out of the package, and say, man, these are big, put them on, they fit right? Yeah. Yep. Tell you something took me 50 plus years to figure out. I don't care what the cotton industry tells you about how cotton is cool fabric and moisture wicking and all that shit. No. Get you some thin polyester that says it's quick dry fabric, you'll stay much cooler. And underwear, same thing. Tight, fitting, or form fitting, whatever you want to call it. They just think boxers, because they're loose, they're not going to get you any. They get all kinds of air. Not as much. Boxer briefs made out of spandex kind of stuff is the way to go. Hey, oh, what's his face? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. That's Jamie. Shannon's beau, in theory. So she, a while back, said he was. He still says he is. But then you never see her. He says she's doing schoolwork. Do we believe him? I don't know. But he probably also doesn't have a basement, so I don't know. I've asked for proof of life, haven't seen it yet. But that's who old what's-his-face is. If you haven't got him picked up, pick him up. He's a pretty good guy. Good old Jeep driving redneck out of East Tennessee. And redneck is a term of endearment, by the way. It's kind of like being a Hoosier. Somebody calls you a Hoosier is outside Indiana, and you're like, you son of a... In Indiana, they're like, thank you. Pull my plug of the boat ramp, and fish scales flow out. Well, you just funny, Billy. You just so funny. If I had fish, then I'd probably have scales. We're supposed to be going down to Louisiana for Thanksgiving. And let me tell you, if any of you folks are from Louisiana, your state sucks. Your fish and wildlife sucks. Their license plates say Sportsman's Paradise. Out of state, you got to get a freshwater and saltwater if you're going to fish down in southern Louisiana. Whether you fish saltwater, freshwater at all, or not, doesn't matter. You still have to have freshwater to get the saltwater as non-resident. It's like 128, 130, I don't know, somewhere up in there. Ridiculous amount of money per year. And I go down there once. I've been down there once before. So I'm going to be down there for a few days. It's not worth it for me to get their licenses. But what is funny, you look on Florida for out of state, and they have resident, they have out of state, and then they have Louisiana resident prices. And Louisiana resident prices are higher. Mississippi does the same thing. Alabama may as well. I think it's their way of going, look, we believe in reciprocity here, and if you're going to be our people, we're going to be a prick to you. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to spend that much money to fish for a couple of days for something I'm not going to keep and probably ain't going to catch. Plus, I'm supposed to be down there spending time with her family anyway. And her family's really cool. My first set of in-laws was really good. My second set of in-laws, not so much. This set of her family's nice to me and good to me and good people. And if you've never had bad in-laws, you can't appreciate good ones. Back when I was still young and dumb and believed that the world was going to work the way I thought it should work. And I'm like, I don't care if her parents don't like me. Her parents suck. Fuck them, you know. Who cares? But they can drive a ways between you and your spouse real quick. Even she didn't like her parents. But now she's got all the time she wants with them. Have fun, baby. They're the weird Republicans, the ones that are just pro-Trump and all this kind of stuff, but living off welfare. Like, you should be, y'all should be Democrats. You don't want to work. You want the government to pay your way through life. You want free medical. You want free groceries. You should be Democrats. Voting for Republicans is not helping your cause. Oh, well. But it's all the other people that abuse the benefits. Yeah. For anybody that has a boat that's not sitting inside, even if it is sitting in your garage, make sure you tilt that motor down. Let all the water out of it that may have been, had it tilted up when you drove home. So we don't want that water freezing because it'll crack. It can crackle over you. Not that it will. It can. So tilt that thing down so the water can run out of it good. Just a helpful tip from Dumbass Mike. Also, if you keep it outside, please put a boat cover on it. You'd be ready to do a number to carpet, to the glue, to the plastic, to the depth finders, everything. It's just not good for it. You get a UV blocking cover. It's not that bad. It's not that hard. And I don't care if it says it's a trailerable cover. It ain't. And when it told me it was trailerable, I made it about an hour before it just started shredding. So some exciting stuff happening in the fishing world. So as you know, I'm a big fan of PC Fun reels, especially the Chaos XS, Chaos Pro, the Alios 300, 400. I haven't really tried much of their other stuff. I've got a couple that I need to try, but I haven't done it yet. I won them. They weren't given to me. None of the stuff from PC Fun was given to me. I had a warranty replacement, but that's different. That's different. I mean, everything I paid money for. I do have a code, FTM18 will get you 18% off. If you're looking, most of my videos, there will be a referral link. If you've never signed up on PC Fun, you can get $25 off of 75 or 70, one of those two. That's a good deal. Doesn't work with the other codes, but still. Sometimes they have sales that codes don't work on, but that 25 off coupon does. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, so on rods, I've never tried a PC Fun rod. I'd seen their Lumicat LED. Whoa, Jesus! Sorry. That was something. Let you see it real quick. Right there, you still see the remnants. Something just came up and was looking for love in all the right places, or looking for dinner in all the right places anyway. You're actually at breakfast with Shannon now? Oh, man, we passed a Cracker Barrel on the way up here. Like, we could just go there and get biscuits and gravy and be done. She didn't fall for it. I mean, that thing came. So this is a very gradual slant here. It came about 5 feet out. So there was something there that I see a little. Okay, so I'm seeing like little fingerlings. So something came up to eat a fingerling or two, because you heard the thrash. I heard the thrash anyway, and there was a lot of commotion over there. Anyway, back to rods. So I've seen the PC Fun LED rod, and it was just a little more colorful than, I don't know it. I am a function over form kind of guy, right? I really think that, I want the rod to be quality more than show. Although I do like high visibility rods for YouTube, but I don't know. It was, those are like $130, and that seems like a premium price to pay for a catfish rod that I've never touched. But they also have the LumaCat rod, which is not battery operated LED stuff on it. Unfortunately, it's blue, so not really a high vis. I mean, I think it does glow under black lights, but not orange. And chartreuse rods both look really good, day or night, under black light or not. They're very high visibility. I like them. Anyway, so the reason I mentioned the LumaCat, I think it's 69 or 89. Don't quote me. It's one of the two, or not. Which puts it more in line with most of your other rods. It looks like it has the, at least for the casting version, the stainless steel guides, the aluminum reel seat, all that kind of, same general thing. But it's 2-piece. You can get it into 2-piece. It has 1-piece or 2-piece. And I got a truck last year about this time. It's a crew cab with a 5.5-foot truck bed. So when I was in high school, everybody liked the short bed, which were 6 foot. 8 foot was just, that was the buddy truck. Now you couldn't get a real truck, and the short bed step side were the really cool ones. I'm old. Well, now everything is a crew cab with a 5.5-foot bed. Some of them you can find with a 6.5, but most of them are 5.5. You know what doesn't fit in the back of a 5.5-foot bed? A 7.5-foot rod. Even diagonally, it almost does, but doesn't. The 7-foot will fit, but 7.6 won't. And that was one of the things that I hated about having a car. You put your rods in there, and you got to lay them in the passenger seat and then roll them to the back, and you still have to do this with the truck. And I grew up at a time when 2-piece rods were crap. They broke at the ferrule regularly. Well, that's not the case anymore. But it's hard to find a catfish rod in 2-piece. So there's the PC Fun, which I've not used. I had the LumaCat. I'm not LumaCat. Well, LumaCat. There we go. LumaCat. I think it throws 2 to 10 ounces in the medium heavy, so it's got decent rating on it. B&M rods. Their original Silvercat, I think is what's called. Not the Silvercat Elite, just the regular Silvercat with the paracord handle. You can get those in 2-piece, and they're less expensive rod. They're like in the $39, $49 range, I think. And nothing spectacular, but it's a 2-piece rod. And Catch the Fever recently came out with one with Spencer Bauer. Ravix, I think is the name, Ravix. And it is a 2-piece rod. It looks like it has more of a parabolic bend than what I'm used to. I'm used to more of a fast action than a moderate action on the rod. But, he thinks of it as his pride and joy. I think it comes in black or something. It doesn't come in pretty colors. Now, again, pretty colors is a secondary for me. I want the form over the function, or the function over the form. There we go. I wish it came in high visibility color. But anyway, pink, yeah, baby. Hey, Saint. Yes, I've had lots of luck. People have come in, they've hit the thumbs up. But as far as the fish, not a thing. I'm trying out some fish bites, catfish bait, new lake, never fished here before. Um, I'm guessing with it. I haven't had any bites, but I've also gone out there with a jig to catch some bluegill and have had no luck there either. So I'm not ready to say that there's anything wrong with the bait I'm using. I just think that the fish aren't active for whatever reason. And there are a few active fish, but not. We've had got a front moving in. Rain yesterday. The weather here has been weird. To get darn near freezing during the week and in the 70s on the weekend, and the fish are like, what the hell? So I don't know. I do like fish bites. I love them for saltwater. When I found out they had freshwater stuff, I was like, I got to get some of that. So I did. I'm trying it out. And I like the bait as bait. So where I'll go with that. So they're in a nugget type format. There is some fibers inside. I've seen them, but it's not the mesh fabric like they use for the saltwater stuff. They are tough. They're not. They do have a scent component to them, but it's not overpowering at all. It's not nasty. It's not something that if you left it open in the house, your spouse would kill you. And even after it's soaked for 30, 40 minutes, trying to get it off the hook was a chore. It slowly dissolves, and so it gives off scent and all that fun stuff. And I would put it, I don't expect to catch big blues off of it. I think it's going to be a channel cat kind of bait. But as far as prepared baits go, I can't think of a less obnoxious bait that I've ever used. I've used the Charlie B's blood baiter type, I don't know whatever it's called. The dough bait I've used, punch bait I have used, of course the magic bait and stuff like that. All your store-bought stuff. And none of them stay on the hook well. Most of them smell obnoxious. I mean, of course, the important part is whether or not it works. And today it has not worked, but that doesn't mean anything because you've seen me catch. No, you haven't seen me catch fish ever. That's the thing. Randy, ain't nothing wrong with a pink rod. Take it back. The one thing that's wrong with the pink rod is if it is part of the Susan G. Komen, breast cancer awareness nonsense. And let me explain that for you. Call me a prick. I do not like that charity. I think it was set up as a money grab. I can't prove it, but it's the Fund for Breast Cancer Awareness. We're all aware now. We are all well aware of breast cancer. So now what? And I also hated the way that they would raise funds. It's not them specifically. Like Yoplait did a pink ribbon top, but you had to take the top off and mail them in. And for every top you mailed in, they'd give like, I don't know, a quarter to. I'm like, no, if you want to give money, give money. Don't make me jump through hoops. Or, for every pack sold, we'll donate this. But sending tops, that's just cheap and fake. It's like, you want all the publicity of we're raising money for them, but you got to jump through hoops before we do it. Otherwise, I don't have anything against pink rods. Pink rods, if they show up nice, great. It's really funny because when the Uncle Lou rods came out and they were orange, bright orange, the two rods here, these are actually Cast King Cat-Tex. They're not made anymore. They're black rods. I painted these. See down at the bottom, that's the original color because it's got all the writing on it and stuff. I paint, and they had the glow tip already, but the orange, that's all me. Thanks to Chunky Cats. But when Uncle Lou first came out with those orange rods, they were the first ones I'd seen. And I'm like, that's an obnoxious color. Who cares what color your rod is? They're supposed to be black or white or whatever. Don't the rod color is a stupid thing to even think about. And then I got one. And oh my gosh, they just show up so well. Maybe it's old man speaking here that has to use bright colored lines so I can even see them, but it's a really cool thing. Anvil came out with a chartreuse color rod. Love those. Really shows up well. Glows under black lights well. Yeah. But then you got these other companies that are coming out. I ain't naming names, but they got like 15,000 colors. And then they got a bunch of reels in like 20 different colors. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not a vain person. My rod doesn't need to match my reel. They don't need to be the same color. Kind of wonder about you if it does, but and I've seen some of those reels in person. I was up in Nashville and ran across a guy coming off the water. It was a catfish boat, so I stopped to talk to him. And he had some of them, and they're pretty. Don't give me that. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're very pretty. The anodizing aluminum looks very nice. But when you're paying a premium for that kind of stuff, I'm not opposed to paying a little bit of a premium, but not a lot of a premium. I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, I care about the function. Hey, Shannon again's fishing. Shannon again's fishing. You know, I used to know a lady that was caught that had a shenanigans fishing. Huh. I ain't seen her in forever. I don't think she's still alive. But hey, Shannon, how you doing, darling? Hope everything's going well. That punk ass boyfriend of yours says y'all are out eating breakfast. I hope he paid. Matter of fact, I hope he's got a lot of money. He leaves it to you. And then you can buy me a houseboat. Good to see you. I hope school's going wonderfully. I got to tell you, I miss you and Angie both. Angie seems to have gone more to long format. And she even looks like she may have changed her channel name. I don't know. Her YouTube name's different. Facebook name's different now. But I miss seeing y'all out there. For anybody who's not familiar with Shenanigans, she's a nice lady out of East Tennessee who is coupled up with old what's-his-face. And she is the panfish queen. She would get out there, she'd catching bluegill and shell crackers left and right. Her and Jamie would be a good team if he'd ever take her fishing, if he weren't such a mean old man. She could catch all the bait for him and he could go out there and throw it at catfish. But she is bettering herself, going back to college, trying to get, I don't know what their degree is going to be in. I'm thinking beautiful women studies, I don't know. But she has got her nose to the grindstone, and I am very proud of her, although I miss her because she was one of those people to go live a lot. And she also has a kayak. I like watching her kayak videos. One of the things I liked about Angie, she would get out in her kayak, see her husband, and go to different rivers. See, West Tennessee doesn't have good rivers like that. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. We've got drainage ditches. We've got creeks that fluctuate in height, in depth a lot. I mean, there was one down from the farm I lived on. Sometimes it was a trickle of water, and sometimes it was over the road. And it was a good 3 or 4 foot culvert in there. So it'd get kind of deep. But, you know, sometimes you're sitting there fishing, and you're looking down there like, that's dry. And the other times it was, you know, raging. And yeah, I see Spencer Bauer out there on his rivers, and, you know, you've got a lot of bank. Most of our rivers here are just big U's. There's the bank, and somewhere down there is the river, and there's not a good place to camp. There's not, I don't know. I wish I knew where Spencer was at so I could go look at some of the mirrors. Creek fishing adventures. He goes down some nice creeks in East Tennessee and other places. I just don't have those. Or maybe I'm just a sissy. I don't know. Like, we had the Forky Deer River, which was, it's actually the Forked Deer River, but Forky is all I've ever heard it called. But it's one of those that, it's muddy and eventually drains into the Mississippi, and it's either high and fast or low and dead. I don't know. And of course, Mississippi is just a raging bunch of water. Let's see. Breakfast that I'm paying for is here. Good boy. Oh, what's his face? Calculate is straight from Della. You ain't kidding. So what are y'all getting for breakfast? Hope it's something good. We stopped at the convenience store on the way in, and I got a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. $4. Inflation is real, folks. Let's see. Walmart Yama stuff arrived. Chicken pineapple skewers from Fishing and Cooking with Mike Chavez. Those look good. Let's see. What I really want to check was Rivercast. It's an app called Rivercast, and you can't look at future more than a day or two out without paying and all that crap. But I want to see what level Memphis is at as soon as it gets finished retrieving the old data there. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Oh, Mississippi is rising. Yesterday at 9 a.m. it was about negative 6.8 roughly, and now it's, let's see, what's today? Today should be the 22nd. Yeah. So today at 9 a.m. it was about negative 6, so it came up almost a foot. And then tomorrow at 9 a.m. it's supposed to be at negative 3-ish. So yeah. Wow. And that's about the level that the sandbar disappears on. I mean, not all of them. The next to the Meeman Shelby Forest boat ramp. You got the boat ramp at one end. And a couple years ago, went down there a few years ago and did a video of walking on my fishing spots because the Mississippi was so down so low. But that's around like 2 to 4 negative is what I hear is when that starts becoming visible. Normally it's, underwater. But I was surprised to find that the bottom of the Mississippi is sand. I don't know why that surprised me. I guess because muddy Mississippi, you just assume it's mud. A can of tuna fish and crackers. Yummy. Yeah. I hope old what's his face is doing better now. Billy, you're married, so she can't run off just because you make crap breakfast. But Jamie's still in that courting stage. We're supposed to be doing good stuff. Oh God, I just used the word courting. So, personal story. Probably shouldn't tell it. I don't care. So my first wife and I were married for 5 years. I never should have married her. She was a good person. But she was a rebound, and she seemed to fit the hole that was in my heart at the time. Again, good person. Don't get me wrong. She's not a bad person. It just wasn't my person. And we went through it for about 5 years, and I finally was like, this is not what I need. And I had gotten a job in Dallas, and about 2 weeks before I was supposed to move, she said, I don't know if our relationship is at a stage where I'm ready to move to Dallas. And I was like, you weren't invited. I was young, dumb, and a prick. I admit it. So we called it quits, filed for divorce on the way out of town. And then, like every couple that breaks up, we had to try to get back together. And I remember she told me she wanted me to court her. Like, I've been married to you for 5 years. Courting phase is over, baby. I'm like, you want me to court you? Nah, I'm good. Hello, gorgeous. Aye. Less than 2 miles. So that would take me an hour and a half, but I don't think it'll take you. Okay, I'll start wrapping it up. Thank you, baby. Love you. Bye. Well, my friends, that was the love of my life. Or so I say. Tokahana's sister. Oh, hey, Lisa. Good to see you. So, about to wrap it up. Last she's out here running a 12 miler. She says she's less than 2 miles from the finish line. I have been fishing with the Fishbaits catfish bait. A bunch of different flavors. They got it crawfish. They've got it in shad. They've got it in liver. They've got it in shrimp. Liver comes in brown. The others, I think the shad and the shrimp come in red, yellow, and maybe red and yellow and white flesh color. And the crawfish and the shrimp. I think that's what I said. Or crawfish and shad. I don't know. Anyway. That's what the baits look like when they're done. So it slowly dissolves. This one has been in the water for almost 2 hours. The top one had not. And they get slimy and mushy and stuff. When you put them on, they're not. They don't stink. I mean, they have a smell to them, but it's not like nasty odor. You take them off, it does get all over your hands. I guess depending on how long it's been there. But no bites today, but it's a new lake. And we've all seen me fish, and I never get bites anyway, so it doesn't matter. I also did try fishing with a jig for a while for bluegill and got nothing. So again, I'm not saying that the bait is the problem here. I will tell you, as far as prepared baits go, it's my favorite for how well it stays on the hook. I mean, it is not easy to get off. That was on for about an hour. No, that was the original one. This is one that's been on for about an hour. That was about 2 hour bait. So, little mucusy like stuff that comes off of it after it's been in the water for a long time. So it is, dissolving and doing its thing. Not messy. It does, well, a little messy here, but not when you're putting it on the hook. It's not nasty smelling. It's not, I don't know. And I've used their products in saltwater. I like their saltwater products. So when they had freshwater stuff, I had to try it. And like I said, there's no verdict on this yet. Please don't think that I'm giving up hope on it. If I couldn't catch bluegill on a jig, I don't. I can't blame the bait. I was excited to try it. I still am excited to try it again. It's going to be more of I think I expect it to be more of a channel catfish style bait because it's, it's a prepared bait. But as far as every other bait that I've used prepared, buying the stores and stuff, this is the least obnoxious by far. And these wonderful weights that I have came from my good buddy Scotty from Fun Fishing Adventures. He makes weights if you need them. Get good prices. And I need to be at the finish line when Ashley comes across it. This is the same event, same park, same everything. that I proposed to her last year at. Video on my page or my channel. And Pitbull has just gone live, so there you go. So if you want to watch somebody else, Scenic City Fishing is just gone live. Thanks for watching, folks. Appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day, spending time with me, being awesome people. Have a great day, and we will see you next time. Thanks, guys. Oh, and the microphone I'm using is the DJI Mic Mini. There's a short with a link. They're on sale for like $79 right now. They were $169 originally, which is what I paid for. And for $79, they are a steal. They came out with the DJI Mic 3, which is why they're clearing these out. But they are a blowout sale, man. They are awesome. Anyway, fish off. Thank you, NJ Fishing Man. I appreciate you coming in. I will tell you, Ashley, howdy. Your aquarium fish, what do you have in your aquarium, bro? I mean, you know, if you got minnows, and no, they probably won't. They're saltwater fish that, I don't know. I still like my fish bites. I put them on with other bait normally in saltwater. So I still got something off the hook when the pinfish peck off my shrimp. So I really like them for that. A lot of people swear by them. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you on the next one.